Let's talk about sleep, specifically that never-ending search for the perfect night's rest. A new gadget has been getting a ton of buzz, the weighted sleep mask. Today, we're going to put one of the most popular ones, the YFONG, under the microscope. Is it a miracle cure for bad sleep, or is there a hidden risk we need to know about?
You know the drill, right? You're tossing and turning, you've tried the calming teas, the meditation apps, maybe even rearranged your whole bedroom. That hunt for a solid 8 hours of sleep can feel like a full-time job.
It sounds kind of funny when you put it that way, doesn't it? A tiny weighted blanket for your face? But honestly, that's exactly what this is. And these things have blown up, promising not just to block out the light, but to literally soothe you into a deeper sleep.
So, how in the world is a little bit of weight on your face supposed to do all that? Well, the answer actually comes from some pretty interesting science. It all comes down to something called deep touch pressure stimulation.
Okay, so this is the exact same principle behind those super popular weighted blankets. The whole idea is that gentle, steady pressure sends a signal to your nervous system that says, hey, everything's okay, you're safe. It's almost like getting a hug. That feeling of being held tells your brain it can switch out of that high alert fight or flight mode and into a much calmer rest and digest state. And here's where it gets really cool. In theory, this all kicks off a little hormonal chain reaction. That gentle pressure on key spots around your sinuses and temples is thought to trigger your brain to release serotonin, the happy hormone. But serotonin does more than just boost your mood. It's also what your body uses to make melatonin, the actual sleep hormone. So the logic is pretty simple. More pressure leads to more calm, which leads to more of the stuff that helps you sleep.
All right, so that's the science. Now let's see how it plays out in a real product. We're going to zoom in on the YFONG Weighted Sleep Mask. This thing is a bestseller, so let's break down exactly what you're getting.
First up, the weight itself. Inside this mask, you've got 4.2 ounces of tiny glass beads. Now, YFONG claims that this is the absolute sweet spot. Enough pressure to give you that calming effect, but not so much that it feels heavy or uncomfortable.
And this is one of its biggest selling points right here, 100% light blocking. They say the ergonomic shape and the special nose piece create a perfect seal for total darkness. And if you're sensitive to light, you know what a huge deal that is.
Now, this is a really clever bit of design. The eye pockets themselves are super deep. We're talking 0.4 inches. What that means is the mask isn't actually pressing down on your eyeballs. You can literally blink and open your eyes without your eyelashes getting all squished against the fabric.
So, those are the specs on paper, but what are people who are actually using this thing every single night saying about it? Let's dive into the positive reviews and see what benefits they're talking about. And wow, the list of claimed benefits is pretty long. People are saying it helps with everything from migraines and sinus pain, which makes sense with the gentle pressure, all the way to just better overall sleep quality thanks to that total blackout effect. It's great for travel too. This review really sums up what a lot of the happy customers feel. You see a few key things here. It's comfortable, that 100% blackout claim seems to hold up, and people love that detail about their eyelashes not touching. For a lot of folks, it seems like it really delivers on its promises.
But it's not all 5-star reviews and glowing praise. When you start to dig a little deeper, the story gets more complicated, and we need to start with some pretty serious warnings coming from medical experts.
And this is where the whole narrative kind of takes a sharp turn, because while that deep pressure theory sounds great, eye doctors are starting to get concerned. They're worried about what that pressure, even if it's gentle, might be doing to the eye itself, especially when it's on there all night long. And here's a direct quote that really makes you stop and think. Dr. Andrea Tooley, who speaks for the American Academy of Ophthalmology, straight up says she would not recommend these for prolonged overnight exposure. The takeaway here is that maybe they're okay for a short nap or meditation, but a full 8 hours could be a different story.
So let's break down the negatives. On the left, you've got the serious medical stuff. The biggest concern is that the weight can increase the pressure inside your eye. Over time, that's really risky for people with conditions like glaucoma. It might also mess with your eye's natural lubrication and cause dry eye. Then, on the right, you have the more practical complaints from users. Things like the mask just sliding off in the middle of the night, causing skin irritation, or all those little beads shifting over to one side. So you've got both major health warnings and some day-to-day annoyances to think about.
Okay, so what do we do with all this? On one hand, you have tons of people who swear by these masks. On the other, you have doctors saying, whoa, hold on a second. So how do you decide if something like this is right for you? Let's put it all together.
It really all comes down to your own health and your personal sleep style. If you're a back sleeper and you just want something to help you relax for 20 minutes before bed, this could be amazing. But if you have glaucoma, if you've recently had eye surgery, or if you're a side sleeper who's already prone to dry eyes, the risks might just be too high.
But look, if you do decide you want to try one, this is probably the single most important safety feature to look for. Eye experts seem to agree that the safest masks are the ones that are contoured, like the YFONG. Those deep pockets create a little bubble of space, so there's no direct, constant pressure on your eyeball itself, which is where the biggest medical worries come from.
So, what does the YFONG mask teach us? It shows us that even a simple product can sit at this fascinating crossroads of comfort and caution. For some people, it might be a total game changer, but for others, it's not the right tool. And maybe the real takeaway here isn't just about this one mask, but about being a smart consumer, understanding that the best solutions are the ones we choose carefully, with our own unique needs and risks in mind.